What up, Juice World? This is Nomadic Juicer. Today I want to talk to you guys about discipline and how to boost discipline, what it is, and why you need it to be successful on your juice fast and really to be successful in life. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this. Now, I personally always enjoy looking at the dictionary and really understanding what the word means and try to really help me get a grasp of what this concept and how to go about it. And so for me, when you look at the dictionary, the definition of discipline is that it's a noun and it's training to act in accordance with a set of rules. It's an activity, an exercise, or a regimen that improves a skill. And lastly, it is behavior in accordance with rules of conduct. So let's break these three definitions down, because there's a lot of words that will help you boost your discipline just by reading that definition. So first and foremost, I want to say that nobody's born with being disciplined or excellent discipline. Discipline is a learned behavior. Discipline is something that is trained, something that is, it's a skill that's honed over time. And it's simply allowing your mind and your higher self to take control of your emotional body and your physical body, which really comes down to self-control. So I think self-discipline and self-control kind of go hand in hand. And I really think that discipline is about making sacrifices. And so when we look at, this first definition, training to act in accordance with rules, you have to have a set of boundaries for yourself. Discipline is about having a framework and sticking to that framework. If you want to lose 10 pounds, or if you want to buy a house, or if you want to save money to purchase X, Y, and Z, or you need to save money so you can go travel to this country, well, it's going to take a set of rules, a plan that you need to stick to in order to make that goal or make that vision that you have in your mind to come to fruition. And so it's no different than when we want to do a juice fast. We need to have a set of rules in accordance that will help us be successful in our juice fast. And so to kind of talk about really the first thing that helps you boost your discipline is to know who you are, to know yourself. And you guys hear me talk about this religiously on this channel, on my platform, is that you have to do what's right for you, because what's right for me may not be right for her, may not be right for him. But at the end of the day, I'm me, and I know my body better than anybody else. So I got to do what's right for me. So if I enjoy fruit juices, then I'm going to drink fruit juices. I could care less what anybody else has to say about that. I know the research behind it, and I'm going to drink it. If green juices work better for me, then drink green juices. I don't need you don't have to imprint your ideology onto other people. What works for you works for you. It might not work for others. So knowing yourself is one of the key components to helping you boost your discipline, because if you know yourself, then you know what your temptations are. You know what your vices are. You know what your weak points are. And when you know that, you can begin to set those rules in place, set those rules of conduct in place. And so for somebody like me, I live by myself. I don't have any kids. So I'm speaking from that angle. I know what my temptations are. So when I go on a juice fast, if you come to my house right now, my house is literally empty. There's no food in the house. And why do I do that? I do that because I don't want any temptations. I don't want allowing myself to be like, oh, I want those chips that are in the fridge, or I want that piece of fruit that's in the refrigerator, or I want these nuts that are sitting on the counter. I don't do that because I know myself. I know that if that food's sitting there, I'll go eat it. I know who I am. And so when you know yourself, you know your temptations, you know your vices, then you can eliminate those temptations, and that can be a part of your rule set. And so discipline is about getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's one thing that talking to you guys and getting feedback and kind of listening and watching, what's going on in the community, I think that's one of the bigger components that stops a lot of people from actually doing a juice fast, is you don't want to get out of your comfort zone. And I'll be frankly honest with you. If you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to change anything in your life. It doesn't regard if it's juice fasting, if it's wanting to save money, if it's want to learn something new, if it's wanting to travel somewhere, if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to grow as a person. And I'm going to be bluntly honest with you, is that change is the only thing you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you want to stay within your comfort zone, then like it's never going to be good at the end of the day for you, because you're not evolving. And there's only three ways to move in life. You're either moving up, you're moving down, or you're stagnant. And if you're stagnant, over time, you're just slowly decreasing because you're not elevating yourself. And so you have to be willing to make change and be willing to get outside of yourself. And this kind of leads me to my next point, is that you really want to have that structure and you want to have routine that will help you be successful. In this case, juice fasting. So for me, I know that every time I wake up in the morning, I do my morning ritual, and then I make my juices first thing in the morning. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Every morning is dedicated to me making my juices. It takes me no more than 30 minutes. I throw on a podcast. I throw on some Dr. Morris or John Rose or Dan McDonald. Listen to these guys and knock out, making my juice. It takes 30 minutes. And it becomes a part of my lifestyle. And so I don't find it as a burden. I don't find it as something that's cumbersome, because it's something that I just do each and every day. Just like you get on Instagram and scroll through it for 30 minutes, or you get on Facebook and you scroll through it for 30 minutes, or you watch TV for an hour. It's no different. So why not do something that's benefiting you why not do something that's going to benefit you in the long run, versus just wasting time, doing X, Y, and Z. And so having that structure and that routine will really help you, have that set of rules that will help you be successful, and that will help you have the discipline and have the self-control that you need to make those changes in your life. The next thing is that a lot of people are constantly like, oh, I got to wait until like the right moment to start, or I need to wait until I feel good to start. And it's like, you got to get that out. You got to eliminate that mindset immediately, because there's never going to be a right time. There's never going to be this moment where you feel 100%, because your feelings constantly change day in and day out. So you might feel, oh, tomorrow I'll do it. And then it's like tomorrow comes, oh, tomorrow I'll do it. Oh, I'll do it tonight. It never happens, because you don't want to get outside your mind. And you don't want to get outside of, oh, I got to feel good. I got to do it when it's right. And it's like, that's the wrong mindset to have. And lastly, one thing that has really helped me, and it's something that I started at the beginning of this year. Now it's a little bit extreme, but I think it's really beneficial, and you'll be surprised at where your mindset is once you do this, little technique. And one thing that I've started doing is doing hot, cold showers. So this might sound a little bit extreme, but what it is, essentially, you get in the shower, take a shower, right? Do your thing. And then right before you end the shower, crank the shower all the way to cold. Don't think about it, just do it. And you will be quickly surprised how fast you will snap into the present moment, and how quickly you'll realize that you've been living in your mind, or that you're living in the past, or you're living in the future, instead of being in the present moment. And every time that I go in and do that, it's torture. I'm not gonna lie, it sucks, but at the same time, it forces you to be present. And I think when you're present, you're allowed to have more control, which allows you to be more pertinent to your goals and to your whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And so for me, that's helped a lot. And so what you want to do is just crank it over to cold and just stand there for 15 seconds to 60 seconds. Let it hit you, crank the water back on the warm, do it one more time for another 15, 60 seconds, crank it back to hot, and then jump out. And will be surprised how quickly that cold water will snap you back into like your present self and get you out of your mind. And that, I think, will help showcase, and it will help build discipline, because it's uncomfortable. It's not a pleasant experience, but you'll realize after day 3, day 4, day 5, that the cold doesn't really bother you, and it's kind of the same thing with juicing. You realize after day 4 or day 5 of doing juice fasting, it's not that difficult. You realize that you were all in your mind. And so that's really the main reason that I kind of wanted to make this video, is just to help showcase you guys that, discipline is one mental skill that is needed for you to be successful in juice fasting and life in general. And I love Dr. Morris, and a quote that he said is that the more self-discipline you have, the more awareness you have of the self. I think that's very well said. I think that's very, profound if you really understand, what he's saying in that quote. And, I think the generation that's growing up, there's not a lot of discipline amongst the younger generation. It's very evident that, a lot of them don't have respect for anything. And if you're not raised with discipline, it's hard to develop self-discipline, as you get older. And so anybody who has kids out there, definitely, I advise you to, discipline your children so that way that they can grow up and understand what discipline really means. 'Cause I definitely had it myself, and it sucks. But at the same time, as I've gotten older, I've become more and more appreciative of the fact that, I was disciplined as a child. And so my last thing I want to say with this is that obviously I know that there's certain certain circumstances, that make discipline hard. When you're working too hard, or you're stressed out, or you're busy with kids, or you're busy with loved ones, and especially when you have people around you who aren't on board with your mission, that just makes it that much more harder to develop that discipline. But I truly believe that if there's a will, there's a way. And if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen. And I think if you follow some of these rules that I've outlined in this video, knowing who you are, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, knowing what your temptations and your vices are, eliminating those temptations and your vices and having a structure and a routine. If you can understand that, even amongst the chaos, that will definitely help you. And if you look at the laws of thermodynamics, order always comes out of chaos. And it's no different right now. So with that, I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on discipline. So I think this is a really key component that will help you be successful in your juice fast and just in life in general. If you want to know more about juicing, fasting, just how the body works, I released my new ebook, How Do I Juice? You can find that in the link description below, or you can find it in the bio. But with that, I love you guys, and be easy.